turn off. Good evening. Welcome to Allports Gaming, SuperCars NZ. This is round 3 of our V8 Summer Series. This is Doug and I'm joined in the broadcasting lounge this evening with Mr. Shane White. How are we going, Shane?
Challenging racetrack here actually with 200 layout, which 200 means 2 miles.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Yeah, it's quite cool when you're going around the track. You still see parts of the older bits that must have been there from back in the day, and wanted a wee bit of history for the area. So yeah, very cool to see that. Virtually got that one wrong. Get rid of that. I just realised that I didn't have this week's race sponsor, week sponsor up on the screen here, even though I had it on the intro. It's DSA. You're a person familiar with DSA a little bit, aren't you?
Yeah, so DSA Building Design, a very good design company based in Stratford, run by our very own Wayne Moore, who has been very kind to me, sponsored my team. So he's got the DSA logos on the side of the car, you can look down here.
When I find him again,
Conveniently got away from him.
I'll bring him back. If he's out there.
Yeah, Mark Wright being a member of my team, sporting the silver livery with the USA logos on the side of it. Yeah, Wayne's been an awesome sponsor of my team since before I even joined SuperCars NZ, so always love to display my own founder on the car.
Yeah, and likewise with coming on board with, for me, coming on board with SuperCars NZ and learning a lot from Wayne and picking up his passion about SuperCars NZ. I've gone and put his logo of DSA on the side of a couple of my liveries as well, just to give a head nod to that. So yeah, credit to you, Wayne, and we hope you're enjoying the last of your wee holiday away up there. And yeah, Wayne will be back with us on Thursday night for the GT3s. Cheers, DSA. And I've just had Sean McNamara, the one and only race controller, jump into the broadcasting lounge. See, I finally got the key dropped off from Wayne, and he said we were okay to come back into the lounge, not get relegated to the racing room like we did last week.
Yeah. He always leaves the fridge empty though, mate.
Yeah, I know. No, he definitely gutted that one. I could see the esky tyre marks rolling down the stairs. How we
big field tonight.
Oh, mate, it's incredible.
Oh, that'll keep Shane busy trying to remember where everyone is.
Exactly. Yeah.
It'll keep race control busy with the penalties as well.
Yeah, being a short track.
Yeah.
And the track's a bit of an odd one. I know Shane before was saying that it was an old World War II airbase, But the track map that I've just put up on screen, it makes me wonder whether it was only the Navy that the jokes were made about, or whether the Air Force had a little bit of it going on too.
I tell you what, there's a stream with me and Wayne in it on this track. You can guess what we were talking about.
I know where the button is to get rid of that, so we'll probably leave it a wee bit like that.
I think we actually had to say stop. Can we actually just start talking about something else?
That wouldn't happen to have been one of our GT3 races a few seasons ago, was it?
Would it be? Sorry, Shane, what were you going to say, mate?
I was going to say I do remember that stream well, and also I'd like to point out turn 6 is called Bomb Hole.
Ah.
BOMB.
So if I bring this up, is that this one around?
Stop touching it! Stop touching it!
Oh, are you saying it's around here?
Oh man! And I feel awkward. Wow. That says a lot, eh?
Yeah. I'm gonna get rid of it. It's just...
Oh, look what car is. Just on the DSA car.
Yep.
He's doing really well.
So yeah, we've gone from one cock to another.
Yeah. Shane's not laughing.
No. No. What?
I was. My mic was
Oh, so you mean you were snickering?
yeah.
So we've had one disconnection.
Oh, who's left us this
We might
evening?
have an issue from James McKenzie.
Oh, yeah, we were trying to talk to, hopefully he comes back. We were trying to talk to James before down in the racing channel, and he wasn't hearing any of us. He was out and about on track, so hopefully he comes back.
Oh, Steve Darren's here. I see he hasn't put a time out, but
yeah, I see he's not done anything actually.
I can't get him on track either.
No, he's not out there.
I think he may have left during practice, unfortunately.
Oh.
Just returning from holiday, maybe not enjoying the track, and decided to just call it a night.
Yeah, go and see what's left sitting in the chili bin, eh?
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting. Last week we obviously had some really cool racing going on between Bruce Tannock and Timothy Vaughan. Bruce has managed to get a little bit closer up into the top 10 towards the front there in sixth spot, but Timothy Vaughan's only managed to take 11th spot for that one so far. And taking up the top of the table is one Shane van Gisbergen. So welcome back to Shane. He's joined us for another lovely evening of racing, wherever he may be hiding at the moment. I'm not too sure if he's still hiding here in New Zealand after doing some racing in the sprint cars at Western Springs last week. Because I know there's some more. I think there's some more on this weekend back at the Springs again.
Yeah, I believe he's got some more races lined up. So obviously a night off from the sprint car, and I'd say he's back at his folks' home in Auckland and
sitting back in the trusty old rig. Yeah. And rounding out our top 10, we've got SVG there in first. Mike Robbo Robinson taking up second spot. A very quick Hogan Shrimpton once he figures out which race set he's going to take, and jumped into P3. Tony Walker, really cool to see him back at the pointy end of the field from I think last season didn't go too well for him. P4, pretty cool. Connor Nixon, P5. Mr. Tannock there in 6. Craig Mason, OKMS, KRF, Motorsports, took out 7th. Cole Taylor, he's a dark sheep, isn't he, Mr. Taylor? Taking out position 8. Heath Parlett there in 9th with Skeleton Sim Sports. And Dion de Graaf rounding out our top 10 as we shoot back up to P1, because those lights are just about to go out.
Green, green, green.
Oh,
A few cars around, they picked their way through it. Looks like Bill Kilger involved in that. Looks like most of the field managed to get through there relatively okay. Somebody asked for a safety car with Sean being race control to let him make that call.
yeah. There was a lot. There was Connor Nixon, Marty Mitchell, Bill Kilger actually crashed out of that one as well. Going back up, Andrew Johnson, Aaron Goodrick jumped to the pits. Yeah, pretty average start. We'll let this carry on for a bit.
Leon de Graaf just had a massive moment in front of Mark
Yes,
Wright.
just saw that. I'm going to get rid of just this info on screen for a minute, clear it up. But yeah, SVG at the moment getting hounded along by Robbo.
Yes, they might not right at turn 1. Probably won't be able to make a stick down there, but what he will be able to do is compromise Gizzy's line and get the run out of turn 1 towards the heaven. Can he let the shape down the inside and the heaven? Take a bit of patience at the moment. Look after the side and save the ball and see if they can pressure the last one.
Yeah, and we've also got Tony Walker gobbling up that fresh air while these two are having a fun wee battle going down on the outside there. Coming through under the bridge and through the tight part of the back corner here. I believe this is bomb hole that they've gone through there, wasn't it, Shane?
The undergrad just split off the track for bomb hole, I believe, at Nelson.
Yep. So we jump back up here. So put us on to Bruce Tannock there in 4th spot. So he's coming for an early pit, getting out of the heat of the moment. Oh my gosh. He's giving him a wee shoulder.
Stay there through the hairpin, he'll get the inside of the next corner, but just a little bit too much to go on the outside of the
Wow, hasn't this packed up the field? This is a pretty handy cam to see the dynamics of the track and just where everyone's sort of trying to pick and find a line as Craig Mason. I was going to say there was a tough location to look for a move and possibly just wasn't given enough room on entry, and he's just had to go and compromise himself by going across the ripple strip, which of course when you're on the ripple strip in the grass there's braking potential runs out a lot, and moving into 2nd spot there, Cole Taylor, followed by Hogan Shrimpton. The Cole Taylor has moved officially up into 2nd spot.
There's a bit of frustration coming out of the project. Shane's back in the back up a little bit here, getting involved. Maybe having an impact on a championship that he's not really involved in. So.
Right. Yeah. Okay. No. Fair enough. That can appreciate that a wee bit, but at the end of the day, also with it, it's racing, and people that are following cars need to be mindful of following cars. We knew that coming into this track tonight it was going to be very tricky for folks, as we go through some very tight twists and turns, as we see Mike Robinson and Tony Walker, who have come out of the pits, battle their way past Scott McKenzie. So yeah, and we've had Shane.
Scott McKenzie has a big break lot into front of the corner.
Yes, Shane and Shane Van Gisbergen and Hogan Shrimpton come into the pits. I might stay on these two just momentarily and see what happens when they drop, to see where Mr. Tannock and Robinson come into play, as Robinson is climbing up onto them very quickly. See who takes a dive coming into turn 1. So there he is. So he's already pitted. See what else is happening around the field as your teammate Mark Wright, who was just up into second place here, follows Cole Taylor, who was leading momentarily. Both have gone into the pit lane. As we stay with just on board with Mark, keeping our eye on Cole Taylor just ahead of him, and see what happens with these leaders when they come back around very shortly. Mark getting a very good clean stop there, and possibly a wee bit of a closure on gap on Cole, as we see SVG go on by. And there's Cole Taylor merging back onto the racing line, cutting between Hogan and Robbo. So Hogan must have been able to capitalise off a mistake that Robbo had made to get back by him. So just behind Robbo, we've got Cole Taylor, and then Tony Walker and Bruce Tannock, and Mark Wright doing really good for himself, sitting there effectively in 11th. But once those other guys in front go into the pits, will be very close to about 7th spot for Heat 1. So Timothy Vaughan here, he was last week's winner of the feature race. He is currently one of the last ones with a need to stop, but very cool to see the ones that, I was going to say the ones that had stopped, which I'm guessing was more for damage repairs, were in the lead. So we see Shane Van Gisbergen, an effective race leader, with a time gap of 23 seconds behind Timothy Vaughan, as I can pretty much put my dollar on it that he'll be looking at coming in on in the next lap or two. He might have enjoyed having a few laps of clear air to be able to stretch his legs, as we do know that he can put down some fast race times. His qualifying position was position 11, and he'll be wanting to try and close off a few of those numbers as we see him rolling into pit lane now. We'll go and jump back on with our other boys as we see, who was that? That was running wide off the track. I think Jason Mayer was having an off-track moment, as everyone's finally just started to settle into a bit of a groove. And Robbo trying to use the draft to his benefit to close that gap towards Hogan Shrimpton, and there as we see it, Timothy Vaughan coming back out, and of all people he comes out behind Bruce Tannock, who he had some wicked battles with last week. So those guys on warm tyres, Timothy out now on some cool fresh tyres. We'll be looking at not straining in those too much, and potentially being able to get one or two cars before the end. What else have you spotted, Shane?
Nothing too much that we haven't already covered off. We have got quite a good battle going on for second place at the moment.
Yep. How would you feel if I jump on with Robbo and doing a flying lap?
Oh, quite comfortable.
Cool. We'll get rid of that and give the guys at home one of those.
Pull out of the draft down the front straight and try and make a move on the alongside. Coming down.
Having a great battle, these two.
Alright, a bit of contact there, just running out of room, just the way the corner shapes up there is sort of creates a lot of atmosphere over the up here. Right, so we come down really straight now. On the brakes, just starting to see about the second market corner, second gear to left hander and turn right, slow right hander, patient control, get it there. Third gear through bomb hole. Fourth gear now, column. Put a brake and pick up the corner into the mid corner and then you're on the brake gear, slowing it down for turn 8, Murray's corner. That sounds familiar, that is also the name final corner of Bathurst.
There we go. And there we go. A very quick lap that takes the guys just a little bit over 1 minute 7 seconds, or about 1 minute 8 averaging for the fast guys. I just see some horrible data jump out. Scott McKenzie, Bill Kilger and Trent.
Shane Gisbergen's off. Shane Gisbergen's off into one reach.
As he's just following Marty Mitchell, who's got a very cool colour scheme on his car this week. As we pick up Marty Mitchell here. The 1.9 MX entry. Sitting down there in 25th spot. As he gives some room to SVG and Robbo to go on by. He'll try not to compromise himself coming into the final corner.
So that mistake from SVG is going to drop a real slip here as Marty just runs wide onto the grass. That's a frustrating feeling.
That's yeah.
Down and you can't get back off the track.
Yeah, very very horrible. But he's done the best thing. He's just waited and not done a lot with upsetting the balance of the car on the grass and come spearing back on onto the track as the lead cars went cruising on by. So we saw everyone down to about position 6 there of Hogan Shrimpton all cruise on by. As Shane's definitely doing his best to defend P1 for the heat race.
So compromises line though, and Robbo probably could have been a little bit more patient there as Bruce has an incident behind him as well. Robbo probably could have looked to set up the exit there off that right hander. So you see because he just parked it on the apex side Robbo after Bruce gets caught out and got constituted there.
Yeah.
And because he's gone wide and Robbo goes through, I'm not sure whether it's from Robbo there or not.
Said SVG went off track, so I'll just quickly bring that up. Yeah, just a very small amount of bump there from Robbo, enough to definitely go on by. As I just see some more data here. Tim Vaughan and Tony Walker just crashed. Tony just not giving Timothy the room there.
Well.
Yeah, it was definitely nothing intentional maliciousness, but this is the price that the racers pay here at the moment, with the joy of racing on the internet, and the internet doing its best to assume people's distances in the car from one another, sometimes gets it wrong and considers it a touch. So as you saw there was still a wee bit of gap margin, but sometimes it doesn't quite come down that way as we follow Robbo across the line for the win. SVG certainly not far behind him at all, and Timothy Vaughan with a recovery run to take third spot over Hogan Shrimpton. Bruce Tannett coming on by with a Craig Mason in 6. Steve Bradford, I didn't really cover Steve through that race at all. I don't actually have much data about him. Who's he piloting with there? Okay, I just caught it at the end of that. Skeleton Sim Sports on the side of his car. So he's in the team with Heath Parlett and one other whose name has just eluded me at the minute. Tony Walker rounds out P8 with Adam Marinovic there in 9, and your teammate Mark Wright taking 10th spot, 2 up from where he started.
Yes, I might drop back a little bit in the later stages, but still a very commendable result to come home P10, so well done.
Yeah. I'll just have a look back up to the chaos of the start if I can, and see if we can. I'm going to pause it there. Bugger, I just missed it. I was just hoping I was going to be able to grab that before it did that. But we'll go the old-fashioned way. So let's come up here. Okay, so something's taking place here with Heath Parlett. So we have a look on, probably the chopper cam's going to be a good one. So Marty getting a bad run. Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's a wee bit of what happened back there. And that's ended up in a horrible concertina for those guys. I believe that's Aaron Goodrick in the MRX entry. If I can find Aaron's name in the list. Well, the guys have got a wee bit of warm-up time before for the next heat. I thought we'll just have a quick review of some of this stuff. You think that's a good idea, Shane?
Yeah, definitely good to see what went on. So it looked like
and everyone else coming in at 3,000 miles an hour. I've actually done not too bad in pulling that up, really.
Yeah, couple of cars I saw that did a really good job with the 2 Johnson cars there. They stand out. Very good
Daniel
with their paint
Johnson or
job.
Andrew
And
Johnson. There's
from
Andrew.
the look of it, they both did a good job to check up as they were approaching the crash and were able to pick their way through it.
So this is on with Andrew Johnson. We'll be able to see the crash up ahead as the green light drops. It's just up here, so he's already seen it. You can see it ahead. A lot of smoke. He's hauling up, bringing it up. Daniel's done the same, who's just there. Managed to squeeze through. That gap's shut very rapidly. So yeah, just a bit unfortunate for everyone with that one. And of course, I didn't have race radio taking place, but you heard multiple radios trying to erupt at the same time, did you?
I heard one guy calling or asking for a safety car.
Right.
Too much going on.
Okay. Yeah. Was there something else that you saw there, Shane? Sorry, I cut you off a wee bit.
There was something else I was going to say, but Andrew did look like he'd lost a spot through that, but at the end of the day, he's still running. That's the important thing there, is getting through there cleanly and able to carry on your race, and he's probably actually gained a number of spots by picking his way through there, so losing so much isn't such a big deal.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, so there's still another couple of minutes left to go of the warm-up. I thought we might as well just quickly take the chance to acknowledge some really bad news today that came out. person, very iconic within inside the motorsport scene, and founder of a lot of, well, just really truly awesome stuff taking place within motorsport, was Ken Block. Tragically died due to an incident that took place up in Utah, a snowmobile accident, and didn't survive the injuries that took place. So our condolences stretch far from New Zealand through to his family going through this time, and to all his friends and supporters and his team, who will be absolutely devastated with how the start of 2023 has come about for them.
Yeah, very well said there, Doug. Very, very sad news coming out today. Yeah, Ken Block, obviously a very iconic man in the world of motorsport, and rallying, gymkhana, drifting, did very big things, and was a co-founder of DC Shoes as well. Yeah, so very sad news. And I guess we can race in his honour tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's definitely, it hasn't been the best of the start to 23 to a few people, and a few others also within inside our circles. So our love and support stretches out to those guys tonight as much as any other day. We're thinking of you. You know, you're in our thoughts. We hope that you and your families are doing well, and yeah, just always remember we're always here, whoever it might be. Just reach out to one of us if you ever need someone to talk to. It's probably the biggest message of this evening, that no one ever has to go through anything but by themselves. There's always someone that'll listen and take note if you reach out for them. As we see our guys stacking up, getting ready for the feature race of this evening. Shane, you'll be able to give the folks at home the rundown, how many laps we're looking at, and what you believe critical lap should be.
Yeah, so we're looking at 25 laps. Critical lap will be lap 1. They'll be able to fill up then and get home, but what it'll be is tyres. They have to change 4 tyres as the lights come up, so we're choosing
green, green, green.
Quick look down the field and see how everyone gets away. This time is still very tight. Oh, as we see Tim Vaughan early one round there. Towards the front, looking okay. Towards the back, okay-ish now. One car off, down. Oh gosh, Mike Robinson.
Off.
Oh, and falling further and further and further down. You'll be able to.
Big dent on the front of Shane Denver's biggest car, so I think there's been contact between Shane and Robbo.
Wow. Let's have a look and see how that took place quickly. Big serve. Okay.
I'm not anticipating where Robbo was going to get on the brakes there, but
yeah, very, very hard to pick that. Maybe there was a wee bit of unhappy love at the last corner overtake. And I've just had a message come through from Brownie saying that your microphone's quite low, so give us a bit of a chat there, Shane, and I'll try and give that a tweak now.
Yeah, okay, so obviously mic a bit low, so we get that sorted, and we've got Mark Wright on the inside of Rob Higgins there, and Not sure if gaining a spot or just holding on to that one, although Rob's able to come past as Mark got a bit boxed in there.
Cool. I've changed that now, and it looks like it should be sitting quite a lot higher than what it was. So, if Brownie, if you wouldn't mind just giving me a follow-up message of a yep, all good, or no, still too quiet, would be greatly appreciated, mate. Thank you for the feedback. He's thumbs up. Thank you, Brownie. Much better. Cheers, mate. So there we go.
Yes,
live feedback from probably our one and only viewee of this evening, Brownie, who must clearly be still away, chilling and relaxing up at the beach, far away from the simulator. So shout out to you, Brownie. Crack open another one, mate, and have one for us.
Couple of race control calls coming in, so Sean's saying copy to both of those, and he's going to look into that. So
cool. I'm actually going to go back towards the start and see if I can pick up what happened with that incident with Timothy Vaughan.
Yeah, we sort of picked him up off the track very late, and the piece already off the track. So starting P3 after finishing P3 in race 1. Didn't get away all that well. Bruce
just a racing incident on that, but a really bad place to end up. Thankfully, the field managed to move on by. So again, nothing malicious, like you said. Just didn't get the best start, and what we got Taylor had caused Bruce Tannock to bounce off the wall, and with him coming back into control of his car, the rear of his has made connection with the front of Timothy Vaughan's car. There. Don't really see too much more. Tony Walker off track. Maybe he's taken a bit too much of a late of a dive. Definitely. Yep. Called it. Mark Wright, who's had a wee bit of a whoopsie nana. That's not clean at all, that one. I don't know.
I'll be interested to see how that's judged. I know Sean tends to take the view that if the car behind's got any overlap on, you should give racing room, so you may judge that to be a racing incident.
I'll bring it back up because it was Heath Parlett. I don't know. That's a hard one. I can't really see an overlap, and I don't think Mark was in the wrong for trying to turn it, but a bit too hard for me to call, and not my call to make.
Yeah, we'll definitely leave it up to Sean, and there's as Bruce, Bill Kilger, off the track.
Yeah, and just as Mark goes by him, so now that's Bill relegated back to his starting position. Actually, there's a wee bit of data there. Bill crashed along with Shane Ewans. That's a big one. That is a lot of that is a lot of chaos that took place there. So
yeah,
so Heath Parlett crash. So he's gone and
throwing it down the inside.
Yeah, and this has caused Shane Ewans to be collected in this one, so that's him. Jason Mayer and Ridley Turner getting caught up in this as well. Yeah, not cool. So yeah, very busy night for Sean upstairs. Have a look towards the front again. Rob Higgins, he's out all clear.
All Connor Nixon in the grass.
Yeah, just caught that one as he plummeted down. Dion DeGraff and Connor Nixon, so I wonder if they're better. That's Dion getting followed by Matt Hayward. He's just broke too late. Oh, so yeah, this is quite a tricky one, isn't it? But yeah, just followed him through.
Yeah, Matt just saying, thanks guys, I'll have both those spots back. So Bruce Tannock, P2.
Yes.
It's been of
And
the
not
front runners.
Sorry, you go.
Seen of the front runners, it looks like Dion has just been the first of those guys to make a stop. Timothy Vaughan has been in as well, but obviously we saw him having those dramas on lap 1.
As Mr. McNamara has jumped up into the lounge. Has your microphone stopped at all?
No. Why is that?
We have been seeing a lot and a lot more, and then quite a lot more incidents taking place.
Not only 2 have been called in.
Oh, really?
Mr. Robinson didn't call it in.
Okay.
At the end of the last race, you could say the same thing happened. So Shane didn't call one in as well. So,
yep.
We'd discuss whether that might have been a case. Obviously, 2 different circumstances. One was a bit of a bump and then a sideways run out of the corner, and one was a bump and you can go and try and find the corn at the end of the field out there.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, and that's not the only one that's been a bit of retaliation, which is, I personally think it's a bit childish, but that's, I don't think I've ever done it. I've hit a few people and they've never hit me back, thank God. So, yeah.
But then, there's a difference between, like you said, there's intentional racing, like racecraft stuff, bump and runs and things like that, and then retaliating for it, and then there's incidental, door to doors where you can honestly put your hand up and say, yeah mate, I ballsed that. And there's been some quite interesting driving standards this evening, so it'd be interesting. Maybe our finishing position results tonight may not be overly reflective of some post-race penalties that may take place. I don't know, but
something could definitely play out there. We'll just have to wait and see.
Just saw Marty Mitchell's name pop up onto the data sheet that he had crashed, and yep, that's a moment.
And he good on him, he called one in too, and I gave it as a racing incident. I don't believe one car was solely at fault for the cause, so
okay, yep.
He might be a little bit disappointed in that, but at the end of the day, it was just what I came up with at the time.
Yep. So, on track battles.
So who?
Too much. Scott's
is Dion stopped? Timothy is stopped.
Yeah, those ones have. And looking a bit further down, so that's our numbers there. Just as I click on Trent Bennett as he goes slideways off down at the corner. But yeah, this data sheet of mine has been all but mostly popping up with red cues and too much to be able to go back to really watch and decipher of what's taken place. Oh gosh, just
Trent as he was running wide there.
Yeah, I wonder if he felt a bit of pressure from SVG as he was coming on.
And Sam Neal's just gone 3 wide with Matt Hayward and possibly a lapped car there, I think.
That
not the
pass
best choice,
gonna
is it?
stick, but we can have a look at that. So who was that? Sam.
That was Sam passing
Sam Neal.
Matt,
Yeah, let's have a look at this.
yes. And there was, I think that's Marty Mitchell.
Yep,
involved there as well.
651. Yep, no, that's a good run into the corner. Matt's been caught out on that outside line a couple of times tonight. I think he's got away with that quite luckily being held up out there.
Yeah, Sam's held back too. Good on him. You know, didn't throw it in there. Well done.
But what I've been finding is a lot of the race drama has been happening around turns 2 and 3 this evening. Seems to be hot product. So coming out through here and then the quick switch back across to this side. It's very narrow.
Yes. Yes.
And there's a lot of grass either side. So drivers trying their best to avoid each other, but then others using it as an opportunity to capitalise. You'd probably just be best just to not get your nose stuck into it too much. As we see Jason Mayer and Connor Nixon having a wee battle out there. Oh, sorry, Jason and his other teammate. Forgotten his name. Heath Parlett, sorry. Connor Nixon, quite a ways down the order at the moment. Actually, probably no. When we look at it, that those guys have stopped. And a lot of the few others up there haven't. So Cole Taylor from P10 rolling into the pit lane.
Cole up on the jacks, getting those tyres done.
And as we're closing in towards the halfway mark of the race, and a few others to go into the pit is Mark Wright and Daniel Johnson. No trees at this track, Sean, so I won't get told off for using this camera.
That's alright. I was watching another stream and they were doing the same thing, mate, so you're not the only one.
Not the only one that enjoys landscape view.
A few trees here.
Yeah, so Tony Walker there coming up onto the back of Sam Neill. Tony currently sitting in 7th spot, coming into the pits. He was up 13 grid spots. Shane van Gisbergen has come out of pit lane. That's Mike Robinson coming.
Oh no!
Oh, that's tight.
Oh,
that's
no.
tight. Oh, and there's a touch. Robbo's off.
It's a bit hard to look at that. We'll see if anything is called about it.
Well, he's certainly not happy about it, but still not calling it into race control. So
again, yeah, we don't hear. Obviously, we don't hear that on the stream. I don't hear it, but yes, obviously voicing his displeasure. What else have we got? Bruce Tannock into the pit lanes. He was doing a bit of practice of that during the practice session. I thought he probably needed to do a bit more because every time he went diving in there, he ended up playing pinball with the short narrow walls. As Craig Mason has come in as well. Sam Neill just coming in there at the back as Van Gisbergen has gone by. There's Robbo. There's Craig following Bruce out. Still a few more cars left yet to make their stops. As we have a wee looky there at the OKMS KRF Motorsport entry of Craig Mason. I know Brett also listening in this evening. I believe he's a ways over in Perth, or else he would be here racing, I can imagine. So g'day there, Brett. Hopefully the microphones have come up a wee bit better now. So we had some feedback before, Sean from Brownie, to suggest that that Shane's microphone was a wee bit low from Mr. Brownie there, so thank you to that. It's always good getting on-ear feedback.
Craig moving
see.
up to P4 as Robbo comes to the pits.
Yep.
P3 even for Craig.
Yes. And Craig has already stopped very early, so it'll be interesting to see how long he can hang on to that. So Mike Robinson, with those few knocks off track, has landed him back in between Hogan, Shrimpton and Dion DeGraff in position 8.
I don't think Craig pitted that early, considering we were watching him in the pits with Bruce Tannock just a couple of laps ago.
Craig didn't pit that long ago, so he's done a very good job to sit there in third spot. Thank you, Shane.
If I was commentating with you, man, I wouldn't call you out on those things. I'd just let you have it.
No, I do like it.
I think I've heard you call Wayne out on a few things, Sean.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I do enjoy it.
Mark Wright.
Oh no.
That's no good. I don't think he hasn't crashed, but he's gone off. So we'll just have a looky at that. That's
not Mark.
I just hate it when the data jumps when you try to click on things.
Hairpin.
Oh,
here we go. Right here, I bet you.
Yeah, too much curb on the left-hand side there, and just spinning up the rear wheels as he tried to get the power down.
Yes.
Oh, you're going to start having this Cole going wide.
Yeah, so Steve and Cole there having a cool battle. Cole looking at bringing the narrow line in to get onto the gas early for a good run out of that corner, but Steve's matched that very nicely. Mark's done his stop. How beat up is his car at the moment? Not too bad. Okay.
So we do have a 17-point incident count. Would you like to know where people are at?
Go on, I like this.
All right, we got 2 at 11. Mark is one of them, and Andrew Johnson's the other one at 11. So couple on 10. Shane Newlands is on 10. But that's unfortunately with us is pretty good.
Nice, just where you see Tony Walker do a very good clean overtake on Eden Marinovic there to grab back into 4th spot. I believe that, Marty Mitchell crashed. I reckon he's probably done the same as he did earlier and locked those rears. Hogan Shrimpton getting chased by Mike Robinson there as they come down under the bridge. Oh. Every time I see the cars do that, because of the few times that I jump into the car to drive these things, I truly wonder how they manage to hang on to it, because when the car does that for me, it's all over. Again, it's all over Red Rover. I would have probably been backwards and through the pit lane entry there.
Yeah, they're certainly not easy cars to drive. They do tend to get the rear hanging out on corner exit if you get that a little bit wrong, and seeing Robbo making a couple of little twitches and able to gather it up, so that shows his level of skill there, I think.
So you just look out through the front nose cone there of Craig Mason's 47 entry, KRF Motorsport and OKMS, as he closes in on Bruce Tannock, currently in 2nd place, as we jump inside the car and you give us a flying lap.
Yeah, so they're coming down the front straight, heading down towards turn 1, which is Rich's corner. Down into the 4th gear here, double apex right hand, they get the throttle down, up to 5th, back on the brakes, down to 2nd, even 1st for Montreal corner to get it rotated. Holding 1st for quite a long time there too, before finally short shifting to 2nd at turn 3. up to 5th gear, looking to tuck into the slipstream, see if we can get the run down the straight. 6th gear now, on the brakes just before the access road there, down to 3rd gear and 2nd at the apex of the left-hander. Turn it into the right, don't take that big curve, it'll throw the car up. 3rd gear through bomb hole, up, short shift into 4th gear, a little bit of brake on the way into here, and then ease onto the throttle through the mid corner, and then back on the brakes to get it slowed down for the final corner at Murray's. 2nd gear on the exit and pulling gears 3rd, 4th, 5th, and across the line, just pulling 6th gear before he comes across the line to complete the lap at Snetterton.
Yeah, just staying on, looking at this view here, just look at all the adjustments that it's having to take place with that wheel as the guys, feel and hear the rear tyre slip, and just working those front tyres from having the understeer coming in through the corners. Especially
Did you see him under the brakes turn right at that hairpin?
Yeah.
Is locking the rears. You see the steering wheel go the wrong way?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Carol, mate. Sorry, I thought it was cool.
And that's it. It's just, I say it a lot, how hard a car it is to drive. We've obviously got Shane McNamara, P4 at the end of the championship of the King Series last season. You probably know better than Shane and I just how much harder and what's the word? How precise you have to be fighting these cars to actually do a fast lap time.
Yeah, you're on the edge. When you say locking rears, you borderline on the rears the whole time. The fast guys know how to control it. I'm not one of those, but yeah, watch him here under brakes and see what happens. See if he. Well, you see a little bit twitchy right at the end of the braking zone, but other than that, it was he's pretty quick on Craig. He's a little bit quicker than me at the moment, I think. So yeah, it's just the input you got to put in. It's got to be absolutely precise.
Yeah, no, incredible. I honestly, it truly baffles me that people can drive these cars the way they do. I think the biggest person who was an advocate around this, saying when these cars were first released to iRacing, iRacing have done a very good job of providing an excellent service to us, being able to jump into any car, and then you get a person like this who drives these cars for a living and makes a comment along the lines of, is nothing like the car that we drive in real life with the way that they handle, is quite mind-boggling. And the ones who do go fast in these cars are the ones who are able to put it past themselves that it's not like the real life car. It doesn't behave quite like you would expect any car would, because of how heavy it is and how much power it has going through to the rear wheels. So again, to drive these fast, you've really got to put the time and effort in to learn its special characteristics.
Sure, Doug.
And Craig is doing a very good job at the moment, putting tons of pressure onto Bruce in front of him. Hasn't been able to find a way past. We saw a couple of laps ago Bruce putting a big defensive move down into the hairpin, and able to hold Craig off as Craig got alongside on the outside. As this is Simbik's car making a move here.
Dion
held.
Sam Neill.
Oh.
That's great driving from both. I would have cut the face off there too on that corner. That's alright. Back to this. Yeah, we couldn't keep up with.
That are having the closest battles at the moment. Just having a look at the data as both of them coming into sort of breaking points to see whether or not they can generate
short
enough.
shift, Craig. Short shift. Get on that.
As the guys are very close to running into lap 23 of 24.
25 laps, Doug.
Sorry, 23 of 25. You're so hard.
I mean, Shane, thank God you're here, Shane. thank bloody God.
That's all those drugs Doug's taking, eh?
These
bloomin' ribs and my.
I think Yeah, we have to start a new group because we have a lot of messenger groups for all the different stuff we do here in the league, and we might have to start a group just correcting Doug. And
Yeah,
we'll start a little group.
Doug's data sheet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Things for Doug.
What did Doug do wrong this time?
Yeah.
How's Scott go? No, I haven't.
Yeah, so Scott in P15 up 11 from where he started, with Mark Wright ahead of him, following Jason Mayer.
It's great car placement by Jason. Hey, just right in the annoying spot. But, does he go around the outside? Go for it. He's gone.
Done.
A bit of a lockup.
No, that's
given
great driving.
Very good racing.
Oh, wow, what a great pass.
Good stuff.
Oh.
And Mark spent the last week describing this track as a move the car out of the way track, but he certainly didn't do that there. That was a very well crafted pass.
It was very handy as he's stretching his legs away on there. We'll jump back to have a look at how this is taking place on the final lap.
Yeah, so these guys not quite on the final lap yet. Shane started the final lap, which is why I've got the white flag up there. So Craig's going to have one more lap, couple more corners where he might be able to get past. The next corner after this one is probably going to be the first of those chances.
Yeah,
might be a little bit too far away here though, unless he can get the run on the exit.
He's not going to fool with that little move, is he?
No.
In the end, he's probably just cost himself that little bit of momentum by feinting to the inside there, but he's able to get good there, but he's very close here, tucks into the slipstream. The end of the straight could be where he can get it done, but
he's got to run. He's got to run. He's got to run.
He's got to defend. Can he go around the outside like Mark did?
Yeah. I'll have to see a carbon copy of it.
If he can stay there, he'll have the inside, but Bruce able to just get enough and take a little rear lock and goes off into the grass. He's way off. He's going to drop back here. He's going to lose spots, I'm sure of it.
If he comes back on, so this is Tony Walker and Timothy
he's had
Vaughan
enough
coming
of a gap.
in.
He's still third. He's rejoined in third, so he's managed to hold on to
he's
that.
Just coming into bomb there. There's Tony there. So
he's got him. He's got.
So Shane Van Gisbergen's taken the win, and here's Bruce Tannock without any pressure now coming across the line to take second spot.
Craig's just run wide again at the final quarter, but I think he's got enough back to Tony that's not going to matter. So he threw everything at trying to get second place there. Didn't quite have enough. Managed to hold on to third, so he'll climb up onto the podium.
Yeah, great stuff. And so Craig Mason did manage to round up P3. Tony Walker in fourth. Timothy Vaughan had fifth. Mike Robinson with the recovery of the century to come back in sixth. Hogan Shrimpton 7th, Sam Neal just coming across the line before in 8th, down the graph there, 9th, and Cole Taylor in 10th. Ridley Turner, not a name I'm overly...
Skill gap, I think, Bruce, skill gap. Sorry guys.
Yes, alright. So Ridley Turner, followed by teammate there, Steve Bradford. Skeleton Sim Sports took 11 and 12, and Mark Wright 13. Mr. Pickering took 14th, up 12 spot, probably the biggest move of the race. No, Tony Walker took that one in finishing 4th. Who, by your counts there, Sean, did it look like had lowest incident count for the race?
Okay, so, well, Douglas Bickley's done well.
Yep.
We've got Craig Mason with 2. We've got Scott McKenzie with 2. Tony Walker 1.
There we go.
So he's leading. Let's just scroll down. There's a couple of zeros, but they never race, so I can't really give it to them, can we?
No.
Race control had 0. Well done.
Well done, number 28.
Yeah, I only have to go with that 1 point really.
So Tony Walker in the feature race, up 16 spots to finish 4th and only 1 incident point. I mean, if there was anyone more deserving of getting the 5 bonus points, it's got to be him.
Exactly. Were you going to ask Shane?
Do you realise if you click on where it says incidents, you can actually sort that in order of release incidents?
There you go. Thank you. Just did that. And Tony Walker, Aaron, Doug. I've come back. Shane White's up the top. No. There's actually one more, to be honest.
Daniel Johnson.
Daniel Johnson. Yeah.
So
you
was
obviously
there,
just
so
did
was
that
there
for me.
someone else on 1 point, was
Yeah.
it?
On zero.
Oh, so Daniel Johnson.
Andrew Johnson's son, isn't
yes, so Daniel
Yep.
Johnson got 0 points.
it? 0 points. There you go.
And he finished the race just one lap down, so...
Okay, well that, and again,
So
what it is it is still the person with the lowest incident score, regardless of their finishing position,
yeah, as long as they
still
finish,
gets
they have
it,
to finish.
as long as they
Yep.
finish. But
Yep.
if we
One
had
lap down
two,
counts.
if we had two that had finished on 0, it would be the person highest on the leading board
correct.
would get it. So we've done a wee bit of a revision on that from last season, where we were giving out multitudes of bonuses, which was cool because we were crediting a lot of people for their clean racing, but now it's you got to be clean and as far up
And
the chain
fast at the same time,
as
correct.
possible. So into the broadcasting lounge, one Craig Mason, who gave everything that he could, including the Vegemite sandwich, and still managed to just hang on to third spot, but not quite enough.
Brucey was fuel saving though. Brucey was fuel saving.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't understand. It's like Craig's fast, but he ain't Bruce fast. So I was trying to figure out what was going on there, mate.
Yeah,
you know?
he managed. He got on the pace that I was flat out, and he was saving.
Well done, P3 man. Nothing to put your nose up at.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
cool. How did I can't quite remember, but how was? It looks like it says up 3, so you finished the first heat in 6th. That must have been all right for you.
Yeah, he was stoked with that. Managed to peel it back out of the grass.
Yeah.
It's good to see Doug can actually add up and count now after the race, but that's all right.
I was having a bit of a mare.
He's having a mare on numbers.
No.
Lap 23 of 24. No, Doug, 25. Shane's been absolutely ripping me this evening.
It's not Shane's fault. He's led into it.
Yeah, it's not my fault Doug's fucking it up. I'm just kidding.
That's all. But while you're here, Craig, how about you send us off this evening? We'll wrap up the stream on your count.
Yeah, mate.
Sorry, thank you everybody for coming. Is that what we meant to?
That's it. He's put you on the spot, bro.
Yeah, I know. How rude, eh?
I know.
You walked into the lounge.
Yeah, I know. It was good, man. It was a boomer.
Aren't you the one that tells us we're meant to always be saying, make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube?
Oh, yeah, make sure you like and subscribe, you know.
And go and buy some DC shoes.
Go buy some DC shoes, yeah, man. Support a cause.
Yeah, mate. There you go.
I don't think they need any more money, to be fair.
No.
Yeah.
All right.
It's definitely sad news.
On that, thank you for joining us this evening for round 3 of the V8s. Join us on Thursday for the GT3s as we head off to Japan to the lovely Okayama racing circuit. And from all of us up here in the broadcasting lounge, thank you very much for being with us this evening. And